Hello there, folks, and welcome to the second stream. We are going to do just another quick one today. Since we're getting started a little bit late, we bundled a talking Tellest and a making maps into one day. Because yesterday I was sleepy. I was super eepy, and I went to sleep at like 6:30, and it was terrible, and I don't ever want to do that again. We are looking at a bunch of Becka Tigress's maps today. She gave us a nice set of 3 maps and like a fun little greenhouse map that we'll look at. Depending on how quick we talk through things, maybe we'll spend time in one of those maps. But I figured we would start with the third map in our Pirate Cove set first, and we would look at kind of what she gave us, which is this map here. What we ended up doing to kind of tweak it a little bit because we needed a couple more points of interest. So we added, some crates with some items up here. We added a little picnic area down here, and then we also did another point of interest underneath the water up here. And we've got like a skeletal remains and stuff like that. It almost looks humanoid. We ended up getting rid of a lot of the pieces of a shark skeleton that looked a little bit more amphibian. And then we put like a little trident next to it as well. And then what we'll do is we'll take a look at a couple of the other variants real quick. We'll give people a look at that kind of stuff. We have some of this stuff here. So we've got, she gave us the insides of the ship as well. So we've got kind of like a captain's quarters here, and then we've got a couple of holds that you can get to. So if we go to the previous map, you can see that we're underneath now. We see the shadows of various things. I'm just now realizing that some of these, maybe they're the reflection on the water. You can see there's some hammocks set up and everything like that people didn't take out before the ship started causing trouble. And then we've got this one down here, so no reflection, just shadow. And then you can see this grotesque looking statue that we've got here. I did a tweak as well, and we added one of our statues, just making it look a little bit prettier. And then we've got some kelp and seaweed and stuff like that. It'll come through a little bit nicer on the high-res version of the map. Becka also gave us some very nice new, as I mentioned, greenhouse maps. So we've got this very busy map. Busy maps are not my forte, so when someone does it right, I am like beyond impressed with these kind of things. So you can see your little entrance, and then you can see this is where the doors to the giant greenhouse are, and there's all these different kinds of flora and foliage and everything like that. And she found a way to like really make it pop. Like it exists in this space in a really, really nice way. She did the windows really nice and everything. And then you can see there's more down here, and you can see that there is a giant trapdoor that leads to the basement floors. So we've got the second floor basement. So this would be where you came down from, and then you can see these are more carnivorous plants. These are not your friendly plants that you had upstairs. So this this herbalist, maybe they're doing something a little crazy, a little scary. Down here, maybe a little less scary, but definitely walking straight ahead here is not for the faint of heart. Maybe you'd want to just kind of shuffle off to the side before you do anything. She did a really good job getting like a lot of points of interest into place here. And then you can see there's another little path even further down. Becka does a really, really, really nice job of giving us like a tremendous amount of value per pack. And it's one of those things that like helps really bring everything together. We've got, I didn't even realize like the weird like more cyberpunky kind of things here. So we'll probably have to do a fantasy tweak to this, just to make it look a little bit more steampunky or something like that. But she does all these like cool little biomes and everything. So you've got your aquatic plants, you've got your, I guess, your tundra plants, you've got your desert plants, you got some rocky material here, you've got your forest biome, and then you've got your kind of like marshy biome over here, your jungle biome, I suppose you could say it. Very like steampunky here. you could probably get away with some of this stuff being steampunky. I think the wires might be a little bit of a stretch, but ultimately just very, very cool stuff. I'm very happy to add this to our sets, and it's nice to be able to do this because you can throw these three together into a map pack, and people really dig that kind of stuff. Like I said, we're going to keep it short, but I didn't want to keep it 7 minutes short. So let's try and see what we can do as far as making a variant. One of the things that I was thinking of when I first saw this was if I was going to make a variant of the greenhouse, you have to have kind of like a glass top to it. So I want to see what I can do there. Let's do a clone real quick. So, let's do glass ceiling, and then I'll see what they have by way of like what things I can include in the map to throw over top of this. I'm not good at roofs anyway, so we'll have to see like what we can do. And I would assume the easiest way to do anything would be to do like a preview. Let's see if we can snap to the grid and keep on keeping on. Something like that, and we are going to change the stamp to glass. Nothing glassy. Okay. Let's get rid of the stroke altogether, and let's see if we can get a fill then. I suspect that we're not going to find anything that we like. Yep. Let's do sci-fi, just in case they have something that we can use. Not quite what I would want to do, but let's see if I can. Let's make it 30, and let's throw it in there. I wonder if I can layer it up from where we are. So we do have a couple of things over here that are higher up than the roof would be. Let's see. I'm going to tweak things real quick. Let's go back to the initial state. And then what we're going to do is go into our custom layers feature. In theory, what we should be able to do is take the highest layer that we have, and there will be sub layers, and we can put this on a higher sub layer than the other ones. So let's do something above the object layer. Put this on the brush layer. And one more time, let's go here, and we're going to use the glass still. We're still going to use the preview, and so the only thing is I don't see... Oh, is it still doing it? It is doing it. Perfect. So we are on... Well, it doesn't matter what sub layer we're on because this should be higher than everything else. Oh, okay. Here, we need to do another object layer. So we'll do an object layer even higher. Okay, and one more time, let's try that. We're going to add it. Now, right now, I feel like that doesn't do what I want it to. I think that what we would be able to do, in theory, is come into here, and we can mess with the saturation and make it more silvery. And then we could change the opacity. And like that, it's not terrible. Right, it does what we kind of want it to. But I feel like there's so many of those lines. Let's try one more thing. We're going to change the texture scale to 60%. And I think that really does a really nice job. Let's tweak the colors a little bit more. I want to see if I can find something that I like even more. So we'll move the saturation up a little bit, and maybe we move the brightness up a little bit. And then let's toggle between the states. Let's Control Z, Control Shift Z, Control Z. I feel like I like the more subtle look. And we can always make an adjustment later if we want, but I really think that that kind of does, I mean, it's just a small change, but it really does do something extra to a variant. So we're going to keep it. Let's do a save. And then maybe we'll do another one on the initial state that gets rid of everything in this little clearing. And we'll see how that looks. So let's go back out. And let's do an unfurnished version. And I am going to let everybody know that tomorrow I will not be doing a stream, but I will try and see if I can work up the appetite to do one on Thursday. Tomorrow I'm doing an OT thing for work. Alright, so let's get rid of a bunch of this stuff. So we've got the big old tree. Let's get rid of the big old tree root pillar. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these lights. And certainly the shape. We'll get rid of all that. We'll get rid of the doors. And we'll get rid of the windows. Okay. And let's get rid of this stuff here, and then maybe we'll actually do a save from there. We'll call it like the pavilion. Yeah, I actually kind of like that. It's its own thing for sure. So save it as greenhouse, garden, pavilion. I didn't think it had two L's. Got hot up here. We are closing in on 200 maps. We've got like 10 more maps to go, so maybe by like the end of June, middle of July, we'll have some cool stuff to show off there. And then let's get rid of all this stuff in the middle too. Oh, got a straggler. What am I picking up from the bottom there? Oh, there was some kind of wood thing there. It's since been made opaque. Let's see what we got. Interesting. I don't know what it's for. Wait, take that away. Okay, let's see if we can get a bunch more stuff here without overstepping. Almost there. Alright, let's do this. We're just going to save this one as the unfurnished one. And while that's saving, let's go into our show closing. We're going to keep it very tight today. Melting. So, folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest content out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start. It'll bring you to all of our other projects. We've also got 3 map-specific sites that you can check out. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get our maps very cheap for a monthly price. You'll get, as I mentioned earlier, we're close to 200 maps. I think we're at like 180, 185, something like that. So you'll get access to all those maps, including the variants at the $5 and $10 levels. We've got Drive-Thru RPG, where you can go. Also, battlemapfantasy.com, where you can go to get all of our digital maps a la carte. We're going to be refreshing Tellest.etsy.com soon, because we did find a map partner. I think if Fan Expo goes well for us, we'll try and refresh that right after that. We've got 2 TikTok channels for you. TikTok.com/@TalesOfTellest is where you can find all of our doggy content. And TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands is where you can find all of Rihanna's stuff. She's got one-of-a-kind magic wands, mimic boxes, all kinds of cool stuff. So you should check that out. YouTube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you can go to check out all of our videos well after we're off the Twitch platform, but Twitch is the only place that you can check us out live. So make sure that you go to twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and soon we'll be back with some Thursday content as well. That is going to wrap us up for now, though, so we will see you hopefully on Thursday. But until then, I miss you.